Red October has come and gone, but with Team Toyota's home field advantage, you'll score even more savings this offseason. Choose from our winning lineup of new Toyotas, like Corollas, Camrys, RAV4s, and Highlanders, all in stock for immediate delivery. Or ship over 200 certified used Toyotas with MVP pricing to deliver quality and value. And when it comes to service and collision repair, our team gets you back in the game fast. So visit us in Langhorne, Princeton, or Glen Mills, or take a swing online at teamtoyota.net. Welcome in. You are listening and or watching the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. That is Sean Kane, the producer of Phillies pre- and post-game live. I am Spencer McKercher, the digital video producer, co-host of the pod, whatever you want to call it. That's the normal intro, Sean Kane.
Hi, Spence.
Hi, buddy. How we doing?
Good.
It's been a while. Last time we caught up with everybody, it was pre-Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And now we sit here and we are ready to go to the winter meetings.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been building up for it for so long. And now in about 48 hours, I'll be on a plane heading south to Orlando, Florida, getting ready for a busy winter meetings. But first, as always, how was your Thanksgiving? How was your time off?
It was nice. It was a good Thanksgiving. We went down to my wife, Amy, who works with us, her family. We all gathered down in Maryland for Thanksgiving. It was also her mom's birthday. So we had a big crew, about 20 of us, 10 cousins, our two boys, have a bunch of older cousins. So we all gathered around and had a good couple days, played some golf on Friday, last round of the year, probably a little chilly down there. But it was fun, man. You know,
good.
Food and football and family. It was nice. It was a good Thanksgiving. How about you?
Love that. It was great, man. It was
Good.
great. Just hung with mom and dad. Always a fun time over at the McKercher household down in Hanover, Pennsylvania. But
Nice.
had a great time. Lights
Good.
were up. Thanksgiving was great. Dad always does a fantastic job on cooking a huge meal. My mom made sure, though, to like, hey, man, we don't need as many sides. We
Right.
don't need leftovers, which then that kind of hurt me because, in my opinion, that's the best part of Thanksgiving is the
Taking
Friday
them
leftovers.
back with you, back to your place.
Dude.
Yeah.
We still have some turkey. I had to throw it out, though, because I was like, oh, man. We're getting to past the week here. So, but good, man. I'm glad it was good.
Good.
You and I have kept track. There's baseball news.
Yeah.
And as we sit down here on December 4th, Thursday, December 4th, the stove is, we said on the last podcast, the stove is getting hot. It's still kind of warming up.
Yeah.
We're not fully there yet, but as been reported by some of these national writers, things are getting heat up at the winter meetings. A lot of people are expecting the winter meetings to kind of explode. In fact, John Morosi said that he feels like we're heading towards a winter meeting signing extravaganza.
Ooh, extravaganza. He could work for Scott Boras.
When's the last time you used the word extravaganza?
Not regularly.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've maybe written it for television purposes, but I don't
I can see
incorporate that into my normal vocabulary.
Sure.
Yeah. Which probably shouldn't be writing it if that's not how you normally talk. But, you know, every once in a while I like to mix in the big words, be a little smarter.
Extravaganza. And maybe, you know, it's down in Disney. The winter meetings are this year. So maybe, you know, it's always extravagant down there in Disney. Looking forward to that. But we did have kind of a big signing on Monday night. The rival Mets add the 2020 National League Rookie of the Year in Devin Williams. 3 years, $51 million contract to the Mets. That could signify maybe the end of Edwin Diaz's tenure as a New York Met. But just your initial thoughts on, you know, the Mets. They made the trade for Semien, and now they brought in arguably the top reliever on the market, maybe top five in the market in Devin Williams.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, for sure, top five reliever. Now, obviously, he had that down year with the Yankees, but hoping that, you know, a change of scenery to the other New York team, maybe getting back in the National League, will serve him well. But yeah, that's big money, that contract. So my first thought, as you mentioned, was, does that spell the end of Edwin Diaz as a Met? Obviously, he's going to be looking for a big contract himself. He had said he thought it was about 50-50 about a month ago whether he'd be back, so you think it'd be less than that now. But yeah, Devin Williams is good, man, and obviously coming off that rough year with the Yankees. But when he was with the Brewers, he was pretty electric. Phillies, you know, have a pretty good read on him. And his changeup and just how lethal he can be. So he's in the division now, so you're going to be seeing a little bit more of him. But yeah, obviously a good move by the Mets, and we talked a lot about the Nimmo for Semien trade on our last podcast. I like the move for the Mets, shaking it up a little bit. So give them credit. The Mets are they're kind of setting the tone here so far early in the offseason.
That they are, and the signing was interesting. You know, I didn't expect $51 million over 3 years for Devin Williams. Maybe a slight overpay for him, especially coming off a year where he wasn't great with the Yankees. He kind of blundered in the last few years with the Brewers after kind of looking like the next Josh Hader after they traded Hader to the Padres. But it's a good signing for the Mets because, we saw what they did in the trade deadline. They went out, got all those relievers. That did not work out. No. Ryan Helsley ended up signing with the Baltimore Orioles this past week as well. So they lose him, but they add Williams. But it's always going to be fun. And I said it here. I still dislike Devin Williams for beating Alec Bohm in the 2020 National League Rookie of the Year. I thought Bohm deserved it in 2020. Devin Williams got it. There's been a lot of, end of season
Cronenworth involved in that too?
Cronenworth was. He finished third. Yeah.
Okay.
He finished third behind Bomer.
That being all right.
But so I've always had a small, hiccup with Devin Williams in terms of not liking him as much because of that. But exciting stuff for the Mets. Mm-hmm. But other than that, we'll see what he kind of brings to the division, and maybe if he gets back to Devin Williams of old, could be dangerous for the Mets, especially if they move on from Edwin Diaz. Real quick, I mentioned Helsley, but other than that, there's 2 former Phillies that have signed minor league contracts that I thought are fun.
Okay.
If you missed it, the Cubs have signed infielder and utility man Scott Kingery to a minor league contract. Scotty Jetpacks going to Chicago, minor league deal. He's kind of been bounced around. He was with the Angels last season.
Right.
He got some big league at bats, but really kind of just stayed in AAA for most of the year. Had a decent year in AAA, but he is now with the Cubs organization, and our good friend CB Connor Brogdon signed a minor league deal with the Cleveland Guardians. Connor Brogdon does get a ring though.
Yeah.
He did get a ring with the Dodgers last year.
Yep.
Only had like 3 or 4 appearances for them. Connor Brogdon is a World Series champion, and he signed a minor league deal with the Guardians.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kingery, like what a career arc. Like just crazy. Like, 2018 spring training, he signs that contract, which I think at the time when he signed it, that's smart. Phillies are getting him long term. This guy's gonna be at a great spring and a prospect that was, we thought, major league ready, and obviously so did Matt Klentak and the Phillies, and they guarantee him $24 million before he ever played in a major league game. But at the time, it wasn't crazy.
Sure.
They thought they would be able to move him around, and then our friend Gabe, kind of bounced him around, which was the appeal of Scott Kingery. Oh, he can play second, he can play short, he can play third. We need him in the outfield. We'll put him in the outfield. So I think a lot of people think maybe that kind of hurt him, not really finding a home. I know he kind of messed with his swing because early on he had some decent numbers, like his first couple of years, but then he just kind of, I think they really went for the swing changes and bouncing around in the field kind of hurt him a little bit in his confidence, and never really got it back, which was sad to see. A guy they had high hopes for, and that contract just expired like 2 years ago. Literally. You mentioned he went to the Angels after that contract ran out, but now he's with the Cubs, and it's kind of time's starting to tick a little bit now. He's getting up there, and I don't know if he'll ever become that big league player, but he's certainly going to try again with the Cubs.
He's 31 years old.
Yeah, I buy it. I mean, 2018 was 8 years ago now almost.
2018. Batted .226.
Yeah.
And 452 at bats in 2018. Then got to 258. Do you remember earlier in that 2019 season when it was like we were kind of joking around? We're like, can you imagine if Scott Kingery bats 400? We were calling him Scotty 400
because 400.
I think he had like a crazy May where he batted like 310, 330.
Yeah.
And then that kind of leveled itself out to 258. Yeah. And then in 113 at-bats in 2020, batted 159, and then just 19 at-bats in 2021. He batted 053.
So, yeah, he didn't have a big league at-bat from 21 on to the Angels.
So he was in one game, did not have an at-bat in 2022, and then had his first plate appearance and at-bat in 2025. 3 years without a major league at-bat for Scott
That's
Kingery.
Crazy. I do remember several things when it comes to Scott Kingery, one of which is Jake Arrieta throwing him under the bus following a tough loss in San Francisco. I believe that was the 18 or 19 season.
19.
Early in the 19 season. Yep. Jake wasn't happy with a decision Scott made to not get the out at second base. He got the out at first base.
No, it was 18 because it was like his first road trip.
I think he was a rookie. I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, he just threw this poor kid under the bus. Jake, as he was wont to do at his locker after the game, was asked about a tough loss. He was on the mound. He scratches the beard if everybody's watching on YouTube. frankly, that inning, if Kingery makes a play at second base, we're out of that inning. And then he the same interview, he went into like calling out Kapler for his shifts.
Yep.
We got the worst shifts in the league and just killing people. Like, it was like, oh my goodness. And it was great for our post-game show that day. I remember that that interview went pretty large nationally. But yeah, that comes to mind with Scott Kingery. And yeah, just never really developing into that type of super utility man that the Phillies, I think, hoped he would be. That versatility that he brought to the table never really panned out.
Every Phillies fan hoped that Scott Kingery was going to be the guy here, and it just never did pan out. But it's funny. So we have, the archives of all the post-game lives. So we have our favorites. That's up there in the top 10 with Jake Arrieta.
Yep.
Just the beard scratching. And
scratching the beard and just kind of.
Kingery
makes that play. We're out of the inning.
God. I would love to get Scott on the pod at some point, maybe when he hangs up the cleats, and just get his backstory of that, because poor kid, man.
Yeah.
Poor kid. But good for Scott Kingery, good for Connor Brogdon. Those guys, minor league deals, hopefully they see some time in the major leagues this season. I kind of see Scott Kingery as a Cub, too. Like, him in that uniform just makes sense.
Yeah.
He just looks like a Cub. Speaking of the Cubs, we'll stick in that division real quick. Some other news that actually came out on Thursday today, too. And it's enticing because we saw what the Phillies did in the playoffs. I don't think you know where I'm going here if you're listening, but the Brewers today, on Thursday, announced that they are getting rid of their road grays for good.
Yep.
In 2026, they will never wear their road grays. Instead, they will wear their light blue with the yellow outline that says Blue or Brew Crew on them. Those are their team official going forward road jerseys, which is enticing because in the playoff series against the Dodgers in the NLDS this season, we saw the Phillies say that they wanted to wear their light blues on the road. It kind of makes them feel better, and it worked in Game 3, did not work in Game 4, but could you see the Phillies making that change or getting rid of the road grays and sticking with the blues on the road?
I've kind of gathered the players want to. Even before the playoffs you just mentioned, a few years ago, remember they started wearing the reds a little bit, like the batting practice looking red jerseys on the road here and there, just because I even think Bryce Harper came out and maybe didn't say it, but there's reports that he certainly wasn't a big fan of the road grays, and some other players were probably with him. It is kind of a bland look, and now they've literally wore the road grays forever, as far as I can remember. So it's something the Phillies have always done, and you're only allowed to have a certain amount of uniform combinations. They obviously have the City Connects.
So they got rid of the reds to get the City Connects.
Yeah, they got the City Connects. They got the powder blues. They got like the creams they wear for the day games, and also the whites. And so it's a lot going on. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me. I don't know who has final say on that. Like, is that the players? Is it Harper? Is it John Middleton? Is it Tombo?
I'm sure Bryce has a say.
I would think Bryce would have a pretty strong vote, but they haven't done it yet, so maybe he isn't the end all. But yeah. I like it, a little more colorful look.
I mean, they look great in Los Angeles. I loved it. I didn't think I was going to like it, and then, I think it helped playing a blue team like the Dodgers. It was a beautiful uniform matchup, but I'd be down for it. Okay. Why not? Because they didn't wear them too often. We mentioned that before. They didn't wear the light blues too often this season because they didn't have too many home Thursday games. They only wear them for Throwback Thursday.
Yep.
So they didn't have a chance to wear them too much, but to see them on the road would be kind of sick.
Yeah,
I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm on board. Opposed to it.
So we'll see if the Phillies make that move. I think maybe get a little inspiration from your guy, Pat Murphy.
Pat Murphy, on the cutting edge.
Sure.
The little things that Pat Murphy does to keep racking up those Manager of the Year awards. And the uniforms included. No detail too small for Pat.
Sure.
Nice.
All right, now to the big news. Not really big news, but we're waiting. And I do think that once even we touch wheels down in Orlando, things are going to heat up here. I'm excited. As soon as the calendar flipped to December, I get excited because it's time. The winter meetings are here, and the next time we will talk will be Sunday. So the winter meetings will officially start it. And I think I mentioned it before. Last year, I literally landed when Soto signed with the Mets.
Wow!
I touched down, got the notification as I was like getting off the plane. And I'm like, oh, what a start to the winter meetings. Yeah. Something like that could happen this season. I predict.
Usually does.
I had the feeling though, because now there's these reports. Passan has tweeted it out, or he had like strictly on Threads, the social media. He made a long thread on Threads about how Kyle Schwarber will be the first domino to fall.
Interesting.
My thought was it was going to happen on Friday, tomorrow, mainly because I'm off tomorrow, and I know
that's when news tends to break.
Exactly.
Right.
On a Friday at like 4:00 when me and my brother have a concert to go to. Tomorrow.
Yes.
That was my prediction. But now with Morosi today saying that. He says that he feels like Schwarber and Tucker aren't going to sign until the winter meetings with the extravaganza. Is that your thought process before we get into Ken Rosenthal's article about Kyle Schwarber, but do you kind of get the same feeling that Sunday, Monday, we could see Kyle Schwarber being the first domino?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's what the Phillies want. Like, I think they want a decision sooner than later either way. Obviously, they prefer to have him re-sign, but if not, then okay, boom, let's pivot to plan B while guys are still available and we're not waiting Schwarber out while guys sign elsewhere, which is interesting because last week we talked about Todd Zalecki, MLB.com, had an article, a little report that they were far away, Schwarber and the Phillies, in negotiations, which again wasn't a shock, wasn't alarming, but indicated to me at least that this might take a little while. But now suddenly a week later we have reports that he might be the first domino to fall. So good for the Phillies, I think, that it gets resolved either way first, because if he's out of here, they can take the money they had allotted to him and hey, let's go make a run at Alex Bregman. Let's go make a run at Pete Alonso. There are certainly some other bats available. If he does not re-sign, I'm of the mind that Schwarber will re-sign with the Phillies. I'm pretty confident in that. I put it about 80%. So that's great. Get Schwarber back. That was priority number one. And then you kind of go down the list from there, see where JT is, and then see what other pieces you might want to add, what other trades you can make to shake up the roster elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, you're exactly right. We can't say it enough that the priority is to re-sign Kyle Schwarber.
Yep.
It has to happen. We'll see what happens come Sunday, come Monday. I do think by the end of maybe even Tuesday night, I would say I'll give it a little deadline, maybe Monday night, Tuesday night, Kyle Schwarber will be on a team, and I do believe it will be with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yep.
You know, it's funny, you and I have kind of had the debate too. The Phillies need Schwarber as much as Schwarber needs the Phillies, but now here we are where Ken Rosenthal is coming out saying that the Reds are very serious about Kyle Schwarber, and there's reports that Kyle Schwarber is interested in a homecoming in Cincinnati.
Sure.
But as we've mentioned it multiple times, it's going to come down to money. And there is, there I go again. I almost said no chance. I won't say no chance.
Yeah.
But there is a strong chance that the Phillies will 110% outbid the Reds in terms of money.
Yeah.
But does it still scare you?
Yeah, I think it's a viable thing. Like, obviously, you saw how they rolled out the red carpet for him when the Phillies were in Cincinnati last summer.
That's such, you know what, too.
And I think it does. You know, Schwarber strikes me as a guy, a Midwest guy who's proud to be from the Midwest and a family guy and has roots there. And I think that would appeal to him. And a leader, an older statesman that maybe takes some pride in, hey, I'm going to join this younger team and I'm going to show these young kids how to win. You know, the Reds, they did make the playoffs last year, and they obviously were out pretty quick with 2 games against the Dodgers, but they were a playoff team. And let's not forget either that they have a manager that has a lot of respect around Major League Baseball, and Terry Francona, a guy who has got to the postseason already with the Reds and has a lot of postseason track record at his previous stops with Boston and Cleveland. So I think those factors add up, and I do think it'd be alluring to Schwarber to go play with some talented young guys, a great pitching staff, which we've referenced a few times with the Reds. Like, some good young arms on that staff, obviously some good young position players, and if he can kind of be the leader of that team and take that team to the next level and do it a half hour from where he grew up, I get it. But also, I think Schwarber knows this is pretty much his last shot at a big payday. He's coming off a career year. So I think the money is a huge factor, not just a factor. And you're right, the Phillies are going to outbid the Reds. Like, the Reds can only be so flexible with their payroll where it stands now. The Phillies are going to be able to trump financially, I would believe, whatever offer the Reds have. So how big of a hometown discount would Kyle give the Reds? I don't think it'd be significant. Now, if it comes down to $10 or $20 million over 5 years total, like instead of taking 5 years and 150 5 and 150 from the Phillies, maybe he takes 5 and 130 from the Reds, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be a big discount. I think he wants to get paid. He earned that right with the year he had. He's getting into his early to mid 30s here. This is probably going to be it for him. So money's a big factor typically in these free agent negotiations, and the Phillies certainly had that advantage.
And it's funny because I've had the debate a few times with some friends and some family that it's like, well, Kyle Schwarber doesn't seem like the guy that it's all about the money. And I agree. It's not.
Yep.
But it's still a huge factor.
Yeah.
Especially if it comes down between 150 and 130. Now, with that being said, I wonder if, and this is a great little, talking point going forward, is I wonder if Kyle Schwarber, if he does say, and maybe there is a contract on the board right now from the Reds, do you think he's relaying that information to the Phillies? Because I think he has the respect for John Middleton and Dave Dombrowski and the entire Phillies organization is there from Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that he'd be like, hey, or at least his agent is like,
I'm sure.
Here's what the Reds are offering.
Yeah.
We kind of want to stay. what should we do?
I do. I think that is those conversations take place, and the Phillies, I believe, have probably told Kyle Schwarber, please let us know whatever other offers you have and keep us updated, and we want a chance to match or obviously probably top whatever other offers come in, being that he's their top priority. But you're right. Like, he doesn't seem like a guy dying to break records in terms of a contract and make every little penny he can, but it is a time in his career where he's earned this right, and how big of a discount might he give the Reds? But you're right. There's no reason for him that I know of that he has any ill will towards anybody in the Phillies. He loves it here. Obviously, the fan support for him here has been great. They're close. They went to the playoffs all 4 years he's been here. So I would think he might probably view the Phillies as a better chance to win a World Series, another World Series for him than the Reds would provide. But, might we see some other teams pop up too that can match the Phillies in the payroll department, like the Red Sox, like, dare I say, the Mets. So who knows? But I'm confident the Phillies are going to get it done. But yeah, until it's on the dotted line, it's fair to be a little concerned that he's got some other options, and you're going to be down there, man. And the rumors are going to be flying, the speculation is going to be flying. I think I hope it happens in the next week. That'd be great.
Same. I think, and we kept saying, we're like, yeah, you can't wait till Christmas. And now with everything kind of heating up already, Passan being the one that comes out and says, hey, he's going to be the first domino to fall, I think we're going to get something in the next 4 days, 5 days. We'll see. Speaking of that, there was MLB Network ran a little segment on Kyle, and they put him in a Mets uniform.
Oh, a little Photoshop. Oh, that's rough.
It just looked awful.
Yeah,
it didn't look good. I don't want to ever see it again. I
can't imagine.
I don't see him doing that.
Yeah.
I don't see the Mets offering him as much as the Phillies and or the Reds, unless, Daddy Cohen is out there saying, hey, take whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening, though.
And I'd like to think the Mets, too, probably like the idea of having a little bit of flexibility in the DH department.
Sure.
Because Soto, at some point during his contract, is not going to be your full-time outfielder. Now, he's still in his mid to late 20s, but I'd surely like to kind of give him a break here and there. Alonso's a guy that can DH for him if they re-sign him. Obviously, he's a free agent too, so I don't know. But I just wonder, like, if that happens, if he signs with the Mets for the most money he can get, when he comes back to Citizens Bank Park, I just can't imagine Phillies fans booing Kyle Schwarber because he's so beloved. But he's in a Mets uniform, and that would just be a wild scene, man. I can't picture it. Yeah,
I can picture him coming back here and the boo birds flowing.
Oh, he's the guy. If he does come back, he's the tip your cat in the batter's box 100%. Guy. The Reese Hoskins, the Chase Utleys.
But the Brewers are different.
Yeah,
the Brewers are different. The Dodgers are even different to a point.
Yep, and Chase was here for a long time.
I think if he signs with the Mets,
he's going to get booed.
There's a chance that he gets booed. And it's probably one of those things where it's like 70-30, 70% of the crowd booing, 30% on their feet, giving a little standing ovation.
Yeah, that's rough.
Now, if he won a World Series here, it'd be 50-50.
Right.
Maybe 60-40.
Man.
But I don't, that'd be brutal.
No.
And you mentioned real quick, there has been other teams, including the San Francisco Giants, have also checked in on Schwarber. That was a report as well, which is funny, though. That report came out 24 hours after their GM came out and said, we're not going to spend that amount of money. There's not 9 figures ready for the Giants to spend this offseason. So,
and we've seen them kind of come up short various times with big name free agents. I don't think guys across the league view that as a good place to hit.
Right.
How windy it can get there, and with the bay there, sometimes it's coming off the bay. It gets cold there at night sometimes. Yep. And just the size of the park too. Like, obviously, as you get into, they call it Triples Alley out there. Like, it's tough to hit a ball out of there into the gaps. So I think that's part of it. Obviously, a good franchise. I think Buster Posey's respected, and Schwarber obviously would bring a lot to the table there. But that would surprise me if he ends up with the Giants.
Same. A lot of co shots though if he ends up there. That'd be wild.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the alley there that just brought back immediate nightmares of Patrick Bailey
inside the Parker walk off. That was rough.
That was rough.
I remember Harper to end that series had like 4 extra base hits or 5 extra base hits in a game, and he said after the game, like, any other park I might have had 3 or 4 home runs because it's so hard to hit the ball out to left center field there, where he kept hitting all those doubles.
And that's also when Bryce was like, I'm heating up, right?
I'm the best, one of the best in baseball. Self-affirmation.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, moving on real quick before we hit the ad break here. Some other news coming out just from these national writers that we hear from. So we're talking Ranger Suarez. 5% might be too low now, because now there's reports that the Phillies are interested in bringing back Ranger. Jim Bowden came out and said that the Phillies have interest. Obviously, Ranger wants to come back. And there was also multiple reports from Jon Heyman as well that says the Phillies are very interested in bringing back Ranger Suarez. So is that 5% increasing a little bit?
I mean, it might get me up to like 6 or 7.
Okay.
6 or 7. That was unintentional, I promise. But that's all I hear in my house.
Yep.
But to me, the Jon Heyman reports just reek of Boris. Hey, Johnny, Phillies are interested. Get these other teams' offers up. These
100%.
offers aren't as high as we thought they'd be initially. Hey, if you get the Phillies in play, then for argument's sake, the Blue Jays just signed C, so probably not the Blue Jays. The Orioles, or whatever team, the Red Sox are bidding on Ranger. If they hear the Phillies are in the mix and the Phillies might be back, then oh boy, we better offer them another $10 million or whatever. So I think that's a Boris move to kind of get the bidding up a little higher than he had hoped it would be by now. But yeah, they would like it. I think the Phillies, they would love to have Ranger back. Do they going to pay $150 million to make it happen? I don't think so.
Not if you're paying Kyle Schwarber.
No. Yeah, and you got some other moves to make. Right, you got JT to make, and what are you going to do with your outfield? There's some other moves they got to make. I think, and we've talked about this. I think they're confident in their pitching staff without Ranger. They'd love to have him. They'd be better with Ranger, but when you factor in Wheeler hopefully coming back and pitching at a relatively high level, you factor in Sanchez being one of the best in baseball. Luzardo, they're probably going to try to get him to a contract extension at some point. Nola's not going anywhere. We've been through this. Painter at some point is going to pitch for him. Taiwan's still hanging around. So I think they still have options if Ranger goes elsewhere.
I'm with you. It would be great to bring him back, but I think we've hit the nail on the head multiple times, and it's going to be so sad to see him go. And that's the thing. Wherever he goes, the moment he returns here, the standing ovation is going to be beautiful, and I can see Ranger getting a little emotional once that standing ovation does happen if he does leave, because this is his home. We've mentioned it numerous times. Yeah. This is really his home away from Venezuela. This is everything to him. Philadelphia is everything to him. It's everything he knows in the United States. So,
and what a story. He signs when he's 16 years old as an international prospect for, I don't want to get the amount wrong, but it was probably like $40,000 or something like that. And now he's poised to cash in on 100 and plus awesome, 50, whatever it ends up being for him. So great story.
He deserves it.
Yeah, but I'd be shocked. I'll say it, shocked if he ends up packing.
6-7%.
There you go.
That didn't feel good. That did not feel good. Last thing before we hit the break, because on the other side of the break, we'll get to it. But before we hit the break, I do want to say there's 3 Phillies names that have been brought up in trade talks. Mm-hmm. Phillies are willing, this is also according to Heyman, Phillies are willing to talk about Marsh and maybe Bohm in trades. And then there's a report from Seattle, a beat writer in Seattle linked Matt Strahm. Mm-hmm. The Mariners are looking for left-handed end of the bullpen help. Matt Strahm's name came up in this article as well. Which of those 3 names would surprise you the most if they get traded?
I wouldn't be surprised. I guess Strahm, just because, and I see Strahm being attractive to other teams,
sure.
But I mean, don't the Phillies need some left-handed bullpen help?
Bingo.
Like if they trade Strahm in the bullpen, I mean, obviously you got some options, I guess, but he wasn't as good in 25 as he was the previous couple of years. But overall, he's been solid for them. And he takes the ball. Like, he's very rarely, knock on wood, injured, and he's a guy that you can count on. And, again, it doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it gets a little dicey, especially last season, but generally gets the job done for you. Seems to be a well-liked guy in that clubhouse. So that would surprise me.
More than Marshy?
No, I wouldn't be surprised by Bohm or Marsh. I think, Bohm we've talked about a lot. I think there's a feeling with probably both those guys that these guys aren't so young anymore. They probably are what they are at this point. Serviceable players, but I think the Phillies, for the right deal, would be ready to move on from either of those guys. I get Marsh because there's so much other uncertainty in the outfield, and oh boy, if you get rid of Marsh, what are you going to do across the board? But I think they're tired of waiting for Marsh to hit left-handed pitching. I think they're waiting. They're like, okay, is this guy going to be an everyday guy? And that's fine. If he doesn't, then he's a really good platoon guy. He's a really good bat to start against right-handed pitching. He's a guy that can come in and pinch hit. He had great success pinch hitting last year. And he's a good defensive outfielder who can play all 3 positions. So he has value. I don't mean to say, Marsh, get him out of here. But I think the Phillies kind of accept Brandon Marsh for what he is. And if they get the right deal and they have to include Brandon Marsh in that deal, I don't think they're hesitant to do that.
And real quick, going to stand on my milk box real quick.
I haven't heard the milk box in a while.
It's been a while for the milk box. Yeah. Shout out to Cake Marsh on Twitter. He's the one that made the Cobra on the milk box little AI thing. Okay. So shout out to him. Yeah. It's been a while since the cake or the milk box got brought up. But it's real quick. There's been comments on our YouTube page, on our podcast. I've seen comments on Twitter. I've seen comments all over social media basically being like, why would they trade Bohm? Why would they trade Marsh? Alec Bohm is a 280 career hitter. Yes, he's had success hitting the ball. Brandon Marsh batted 280 last season. heck, if he didn't have a crappy beginning of April, where he's 0 for, he probably bats 300 this year. That's correct too. 261 career hitter. However, I personally am tired of seeing Brandon Marsh and Alec Bohm come up short in big moments. Alec Bohm is not a cleanup hitter.
No.
It's time to move on. It's time to get fresh faces in here and someone that can consistently hit. And whether that's Alex Bregman, whether that's a trade, whether, heck, if that's Otto Kemp filling in third base or Justin Crawford coming in the outfield, one of those guys will step up. At least I would think so. But I think the Alec Bohm and Brandon Marsh experiment, it's run its course. These guys are getting older. We've seen it. Bryce Harper's getting older. Zach Wheeler's getting older. Kyle Schwarber, if he returns, JT Realmuto, if he returns, they're getting older. These guys that they've expected to step up, and really since 2022 haven't, you have to move on. And whether you can get some sort of great pieces in return, which I'm assuming if you trade either one of them, they are enticing young players. I was going to say prospects, but they're not.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, that's enticing to other teams. Brandon Marsh and Alec Bohm are very enticing to other teams. Heck, National League champions in 2022. Again, I just mentioned their stats from last season.
They all
and
have
careers.
tools. Yeah.
They all are there. But if you're the Phillies, you've seen them not come up in these big moments. And that's really what it comes down to. You need more help.
Yeah.
And I don't think those guys coming into the fourth year of this, of seeing the same thing over and over again, is the right way to handle it.
Yeah. No, if you got to shake it up, those are the type of guys you're going to shake it up with.
Move
on. Yeah, you said Bohm, not a cleanup hitter. And in the playoffs, a lot of times Marsh was hitting fifth.
Right.
So you can't have that. Like that's, well, and that isn't some fault to Nick Castellanos not producing and JT not having a great year. Those are the guys you would think would be up in those 5-6 holes. But no, you're right. I think the Phillies at this point have a pretty good read on both those guys, and they bring a lot to the table, but in some areas they've come up short. And as you said, they're attractive to other teams. And if they can get something back of value, then I think you make that move. And frankly, I'd kind of lump Stott into that mix too. I like Bryson Stott. He's terrific defensively. We've seen the inconsistencies offensively. Again, an up and down year this past year. And if they can get, and I think there's another guy that is under club control that is attracted to other teams. And if he can get a right deal done and he's part of it, I wouldn't be shocked. I think they can get by with having Edmundo Sosa play some second base. And if Aiden Miller comes up, then he's in that mix in that middle infield. So we'll see. I'm not advocating for them to trade Bryson Stott, but I think he can kind of fit into that same timeline, that same bubble with Marsh and Bohm as being guys that have been here now for a while, and they've had some great moments, but they've also kind of come up short here and there, as you pointed out. So, again, the Mets traded Brandon Nimmo, so like you got to trade something to get something. You got to shake it up unless you want to try to run it back with the exact same group.
And I've been on the train of, hey, running back last year, it's time to change things up. And again, this is nothing against Brandon Marsh and Alec Bohm. I've kind of had my career arc follow them as well. Alec Bohm was one of the very first guys I ever one-on-one interviewed by myself.
You guys are all like the same age.
Exactly. And like, nothing against them. I love both of those guys as people, but it's time to move on from the Phillies. All right, we're 30 minutes in. We got to hit the ad break. Unfortunately, dude, Temple Health, thank you for all your support.
Yeah.
That commercial no longer with us, but thank you, Temple Health and Tom McCarthy and Ruben Amaro for their genuine great acting skills.
Yep.
But quick ad break. On the other side, we got some trade targets and another free agent target that the Phillies could be interested in. But first, Philly Sports Trips. Sean Kane, the holidays are right around the corner. Do you need some holiday gift inspiration?
Who doesn't? Absolutely.
Well, escape the cold and catch the Phillies in Clearwater with NBC Sports Philadelphia and Philly Sports Trips. We're teaming up to bring fans the most unforgettable Philly spring training experience yet. This trip includes Phillies game tickets, beachfront accommodations, round-trip travel, all-inclusive tailgates, and much more. Plus, appearances from Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, and NBC Sports Philadelphia's own Ben Davis.
Wow.
Can you imagine Benny down there with the fellas?
That's a party. Charlie, Larry, and Ben down there. I mean, sign me up. It looks like an awesome trip.
You and I will be down there. Book your trip today at phillysportstrips.com. All right, welcome back to Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota. Spencer McKercher, Sean Kane. All right, Kaner. So Jeff Passan had a whole long article about the top 25 players that he could see get traded. Before we get to that.
Yeah.
Tatsuya Imai.
Yes.
The Japanese pitcher coming over here to the big leagues. He has to sign before January 2nd. That's when his 45-day window closes.
Okay.
27-year-old, has a nasty slider, has a nasty splitter, kind of uses the slider more than the splitter. Upper 90s in velo on his fastball. We haven't seen really the Phillies dip their toe into the Japanese pool yet, but a quote that got my attention was one, he said he'd rather beat the Dodgers than join them. We've seen the Japanese guys come over here and really kind of stay on the West Coast, closer to home, understandable. But his quote saying that he would rather beat the Dodgers than join them is huge. Then it's also considerable because that confidence comes out of nowhere. And Ken Rosenthal tweeted or reported that that confidence could lead him to pitch for a New York team. And then he specifically said the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
Would a guy like Tatsuya Imai entice you?
Yes, for sure. And obviously I love the general attitude of wanting to go up against these guys as opposed to playing with these guys in the Dodgers. And the Phillies, like you said, like they haven't made much of a splash in the Asian international player pool, Japan specifically, but it's not for a lack of trying. Like they're eager to get one of these guys. I mean, they a couple of years ago offered more money to Yamamoto than the Dodgers did. It was just he wanted to go play for the Dodgers and with Ohtani, and as you said, be a little closer to home and more of a familiar market there. But no, there's talent to be had there, and we've seen not just Ohtani, Yamamoto. We've seen a lot of these guys come over, both position players and pitchers, and prove that they can make a difference right away. And the Phillies, that would be great if he wants to come and pitch in the Northeast and he's got that makeup to do it. He certainly sounds like one of these guys that can make a difference, and I'm all for it, and I think the Phillies would be all for it for sure. And that opens up hey, he came here, he did well, and that puts the Phillies more on the radar in years moving forward to these other Japanese players. Okay, we know the Phillies now, and we saw what they did, and that's gets the ball rolling hopefully in the Asian market.
That's a great point. That's a great point, because if he has success here, and he kind of has that swagger about him of not worrying about staying close to home, coming to the East Coast, and really dominating, that'd be awesome. 163 innings this season, 1.92 ERA, had a 0.892 WHIP, 178 Ks.
Wow.
Sign me up.
Yeah, those are good numbers.
And that's a prime age, 27 years old, have a lot of upside.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have Murakami and Akamoto, the two third basemen that are also intriguing. Unless they move on from Bohm, I really don't see that.
Yeah.
One of those guys coming here, I do see those guys kind of staying on the West Coast, whether that's with the Giants, whether that's with the Dodgers, whether that's with the Angels, anybody. But Imai would be up there for me if you can somehow get him, especially on a, team-friendly contract as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he has to sign before January 2nd. So the report also said that really he's going to wait till after the winter meetings to start making these team meetings. So we could see him on the East Coast closer towards Christmas. But obviously has till January 2nd to make a sign.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
For sure. That'd be great.
In that same article from Rosenthal, he mentioned that the Dodgers now are listening to trade talks for Teoscar Hernandez. Intriguing.
As mentioned in our maybe a podcast or two ago, when we did all our predictions of where these big name free agents are going to land. I feel like the Brian Windhorst thing. Why would they do
What's
that?
What's going on in Utah?
The Dodgers perhaps shopping Teoscar to clear room in the outfield, specifically right field, for Kyle Tucker.
Bingo.
Which would not surprise me at all if they feel they can move Teoscar to improve another area of their club. Teoscar limited defensively, great power hitter. He's a great hitter, period. But they think Tucker's a better, more complete player, which I think is fair. Here comes Kyle Tucker to plug right into that Dodgers lineup.
$400 million.
They could use a little pop, the Dodgers, in that lineup, a little star power to go along with Mookie and Shohei and Freddie and Will Smith. Max Muncy and
Tommy Edman,
Enrique, Kike. So yeah, that interesting. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me. If Teoscar's on the move, then I think the Dodgers wouldn't move him without having a plan to replace him. And Tucker certainly seems like a guy that would fit in well there.
33 years old. Teoscar is owed $12 million in 2026, $14.5 in 2027. Then he's guaranteed $6.5 million buyout on a $15 million club option for 2028.
Interesting.
Okay. Oh, you mentioned his defense. So the Dodgers outfield ranked 18th in outs above average. He ranked 33rd out of 36 qualified players on outs above average.
Right. And you can't DH him, the Dodgers, well, with Ohtani in the mix. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But would say Kyle doesn't sign.
You're saying the Phillies.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. If Kyle doesn't sign, heck yeah. Like, there you go. Like, let's bring him in. And
wouldn't put him in right field.
No. But you could maybe I'm a big fan of like not having the permanent DH just because it gives you that flexibility. Like, hey, let's get JT off his feet a couple more times a year. Hey, Bryce, we want to keep in the lineup, but maybe take a day in DH. I mentioned JT. Whoever else they want to move in there. Trey Turner, hey, here's a day where he can just kind of DH. Obviously, you have a guy like Kyle Schwarber. He's going to be the DH, rightfully so, for the vast majority of the games. But you bring in Teoscar if Schwarber doesn't come back, and then you can kind of mix him into mostly as a DH, but kind of use him a little bit in the outfield, give these other guys a break. I think that's something that would be attractive.
I wonder what a trade package would look like, even for other teams. Yeah. If you're the Phillies, like, he's 33 years old, owed, somewhat club friendly, $12 million, $14 million,
yeah, that's
2027. Not too bad for, a guy that perennial all-star, really helped out that team. He has a great postseason numbers, which is what the Phillies are looking for, but
I have a hard time envisioning like the Phillies and Dodgers coming together for a trade of that magnitude.
Right.
Like the two essentially big dogs in the National League.
Do you think Nick 1-for-1?
There you go. Yeah.
The guy that ranked 36th.
Right, in defense.
defense. Teoscar ranked 33rd out of 36.
Interesting. But no,
I don't know. I don't know if they would want prospects. I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give up like Crawford. Certainly not Aiden Miller.
No. Yeah. Interesting.
It is interesting.
Interesting. Teoscar Hernandez possibly on the move. But I was looking at more of the Dodgers making a run at Tucker than the Phillies potentially being a suitor. But
Bingo.
I'm sure they'd be interested.
Tucker was spotted in Toronto's facilities in Florida.
Okay.
Down in Dunedin yesterday.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting.
Man, they'd be loading up.
Intriguing. That's the thing. I saw something that was like, stop saying interesting, start saying intriguing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that like a comment to us specifically?
No.
Okay.
I was reading something.
Just, interesting is kind of more bland.
Yeah, intriguing is fun.
I'm intrigued.
I like intriguing.
Yeah, okay.
All right, now to the Jeff Passan article. I'm going to list some names. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players out of the 25 players that he ranked that have the Phillies linked or that could be a fit for some of these players. So we'll start with the guy that we mentioned in the last podcast, Ketel Marte.
Yes.
Passan said there's a 40% chance he gets traded. He listed the Pirates, which we'll get to because the Pirates are on this entire list, which is hilarious. The Pirates, the Giants, the Phillies, the Mariners, the Royals, the A's, and the Mets for Ketel. Then we'll go to Byron Buxton, 35%. Listed the Braves, the Mets, the Tigers, the Reds, the Phillies, the Royals.
Yeah.
Another outfielder, Jarren Duran from the Red Sox, 50% chance, according to Jeff Passan, getting traded. Tigers, Royals, Giants, Pirates, Phillies, Mets, Reds, Diamondbacks. Then your guy, Stephen Kwan, 25%. Giants, Pirates, Mets, Phillies, Royals, Tigers, Astros.
Okay.
Then Wilyer Abreu, intriguing to me. I would love this. Right fielder for the Red Sox, 50% chance of him getting traded as well. Tigers, Giants, Pirates, Phillies, Mets, Royals, Astros again. Elite right fielder, ranks second in run saved behind Fernando Tatis, plus arm, 22 homers, only 27 years old as well. And then, of course, the name that's been out there for the last 3 seasons, Luis Robert Jr.
Yeah.
60% chance of getting traded, which I feel like it's been higher in off seasons past. Giants, Phillies, Mets, Reds.
Okay.
So out of those names,
a lot of names we've talked about.
Correct.
Like over this podcast, whether it be during the season or in the off season here. Marte, we talked at length about. I'm on board. Like, I know you're going to have to give up a lot of big time prospects. People, why would you want to do that? You're just going to get older. You're already too old. Why would you want to give up the prospects? Because, like, again, this is my whole thought when it comes to Marte, when it comes to Buxton. The whole idea with this club, the way this roster is constructed, is to win a World Series like in the next 2 years.
Now.
Yeah, like Bryce Harper is getting up there.
Yep.
Zach Wheeler is getting up there. If Schwarber comes back, the whole timeline, Trey Turner, like I know Trey's here for another 8 years, but like you're really going to get Trey's best years in these next couple of years. Obviously, they're close and they've been to the postseason, and getting in is half the battle, and then it's like, let's see who gets hot. But Ketel Marte is a guy that's going to help you win now at a position where they could use an upgrade offensively. Certainly, we just talked about Bryson Stott, who I like, but Marte, give me Marte at second base with Bryce at first and Trey at short, and then figure out third, and whether that's Bohm or you make another move there. Buxton, yes, same deal. Like, it's going to take a ton of big-time prospects to get him out of Minnesota, but you need a center fielder. He's got the injury concerns, but what a player when he's healthy, and what a guy in that lineup. So either of those guys, yes. Obviously, we've argued about Stephen Kwan. I would love Stephen Kwan. He's the type of hitter that they could need, a more of a contact guy that puts the ball in play, plays a great left field. He would be great for their outfield. But again, We heard in the midseason last year that the whole conversation started at Painter. So now you're giving up Painter and/or Miller for Stephen Kwan. That's a separate discussion. So I'm on board for those guys. Abreu and down the line there, to a lesser extent.
Robert.
Luis Robert, yeah, we talked about him forever. I think he's a change of scenery guy. He's in that wasteland of a White Sox organization where he comes here and he's playing in front of 40,000 people every night, get a little more engaged, a little more juice. He's got the talent. So, yeah, you got to mix it up, man. I don't know. And to get these guys, you got to give up Aiden Miller. You got to give up Andrew Payne. Justin Crawford, these guys have to be part of these deals. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So, but if it's Marte, if it's Buxton, count me in. I think go do it, make a run at winning this World Series because, I get it. You want to have a young core to move on, but this team is built to win now. They haven't gotten it done. They've come close. If one of these guys can be the difference maker, the Pete Rose of this era to come in and put them over the hump, then do it.
Sure. I like it. Get me fired up, dude.
That was good. You got to win this World Series in the Harper era. It's got to happen pretty soon.
I'm with you, man, because, it's funny. I was laughing at some of the comments on YouTube. And, this team stinks. The window's already closed. No, it's not. It's not closed.
He won 95 games, 96 games.
As long as Zach Wheeler, Bryce Harper, and Kyle Schwarber on this team, the window is not closed.
Yep.
And you have to go out and get it. Now, Aiden Miller, we'll see. But Willie Abreu really is the one that really gets me going. Put him in right field, 27 years old, I mentioned.
I like Duran, too. I mentioned
Duran, too, would be awesome. Last season, he batted .247. He batted .253 in 2024. Abreu, we're talking about. OPS of 786. It's there. It'd be awesome. And again, an elite defender in right field, something that they haven't had since Nick Castellanos has been there. So I would love Abreu. Now, Miller? No.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. They'd probably want Crawford. They'd probably want Nori. We'll have to see because, again, he's 27 years old, young kid. The Red Sox would want a lot. So, I don't know. It's intriguing, but Abreu is a name that I would really, really, really enjoy here in Philadelphia.
Another Abreu in right field.
That's exactly
what
I was going for, too. Exactly what I was going for. Can you imagine? Bobby DeWillier.
Yes.
And it's Will Yer, not Will Burr. I've seen people say Will Burr. It is Will Yer, Abreu. All right, so we're getting ready to go to the winter meetings. I'll be down there. I cannot wait. Also, it's been way too freaking cold outside. The cold happened so fast.
Good time to go to Florida.
Can't wait to hit Orlando.
Yep, you and Bob Cooney.
Me and Bob Cooney. Gonna look forward to that. Can't wait for that. But before we get down there, give me 3 things that you like to see the Phillies do. And obviously, the number one thing I think we can both agree on. Go ahead for it. But give me your 3 things that you'd like to see the Phillies do in the next 7 days.
Ooh, okay. So my perfect plan for the next week is to re-sign Kyle Schwarber, trade Alec Bohm to the Angels for Joe Adell. Obviously, that's going to be a one-on-one thing, but the centerpiece of a package.
Sure.
And then, again, I know the money is a lot at this point, but if third base is open, I think they need to get in on Bregman. If they want to do a shorter deal with Bregman with a higher AAV, but who knows what other offers he's going to get. But I still think Bregman is a dark horse. They're a dark horse to sign him, but I just think it makes sense. It's that right-handed bat, third baseman, postseason experience. I just think he would be a great addition. And now Schwarber and him is probably asking too much from a payroll perspective, but you asked me for my 3 things. That's my. Imagine if a week from now we got both Schwarber and Bregman back in the mix. That'd be exciting. And you get Bohm trade for an outfielder that can impact, whether that's Joe Adell or somebody else.
Come on.
That'd be my 3-step plan for. Again, I realize it might be pie in the sky, but that's my goal.
Count me in.
Yeah,
count me into that. I'm with you. Number 1, Kyle Schwarber. It's gonna happen. Make it happen, Dave. We'll hopefully see it earlier in that week. Obviously, we will have a podcast ready to go as soon as that news breaks down there. That's number 1. Number 2 is JT.
Yeah.
Get the JT done, or the JT deal done as soon as you get Kyle done. Bring him back. Make sure that's set up. And then number 3, yes, trading Alec Bohm. I'm with you, but even just to go different, sign somebody like a Pete Fairbanks. Sign somebody like a Taylor Rogers that are on the thing that you can supplement to go to Duran in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
Getting that 8th inning guy would be huge for this team. And if you can make that happen in this next week, we've seen the reliever market really kind of heat up over the last 48 hours. We saw Cody Ponce go to the Blue Jays. We saw some other relievers kind of come off the board. I mentioned Helsley at the beginning of the podcast, go to the Orioles. That reliever market is kind of the only market getting going right now. Go out and get a guy like Pete Fairbanks. Go out and get a guy like Taylor Rogers to kind of supplement Jahan Duran before that 9th inning. You have Jose Alvarado. You might have Matt Strahm. We'll see.
Yeah.
But go out and get someone like that to kind of supplement Duran before that 9th inning, because I feel like that's a name that we kind of forget about. That like we still have Jahan Duran on the roster.
Yep.
And you need somebody to get him set up for that 9th inning. And a guy like Pete Fairbanks would be intriguing. Okay. So you see that? Intriguing, not interesting.
Interesting. Intriguing. Fairbanks, good media guy too.
Good media guy.
A lot of interviews from him are pretty good stuff. So that'd be great.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
It would be fun. Also, the winter meetings, we had a meeting about the winter meetings. We were trying to get, we've
been known to have some meetings around here.
That's right. Here at NBC Sports Philadelphia, a lot of meetings about the winter meetings. That's right. But it was mentioned, I'm going to look for some one-on-ones down there. Mm-hmm. We'll see who we can get reporter-wise. There could be some players walking around.
Yep.
We will have one-on-ones with Rob Thompson, Dave Dombrowski, and hopefully Preston Mattingly.
Sure.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They'll be split up. We don't know who will come first. I'm sure Dombo probably Monday, Topper on Tuesday, and Preston Mattingly on Wednesday. That's what we did last year. So look out for those on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. But also, I want to talk to Gabe Kapler.
Oh, who wouldn't?
When I get down there. Yeah. Last year, dude, I'm telling you, set the scene real quick. We're in the hotel in Dallas. All of a sudden, you see Gabe walking in the middle, and it's like a flying V formation of like guys in like, and I'm talking like, not like suits, but Cap has like 3 buttons undone, wearing a black shirt with a black suit. And then the 6 other people behind him of the Marlins brass also had the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to like stand up and clap, because they just controlled the room.
That's right.
You're seeing all these people, and it's like, there he is. So if we can talk to the new general manager of the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, guy knows how to make an entrance.
I'm going to try to make that happen.
Yeah, all right.
Going to try to make that happen.
I look forward to that. But look forward to Cap, obviously, but looking forward to your coverage down there.
Thanks, buddy.
Lots going on, a lot of people to talk to. There's going to be a lot of moves. So tune in on the television side, on the digital side. I know Bob's going to be writing. You're going to have videos left and right. We'll have podcasts. So a busy week of off-season Phillies baseball coming your way here.
Can't wait. We will have daily podcasts. Could be me and Bob Cooney. Sean Kane will be there as much as possible as well. And if any news breaks, we will be here to cover it first here on the Phillies Talk podcast. Speaking of that, as we wrap up, we're landing the plane.
Yep.
It's big time of the season, Sean Kane.
Yes. I
know, not really tech savvy. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus.
Whoa, text. I mean, let's easy here. I mean, I know my way around a computer. Sometimes.
So the thing, so Apple Music, right? Mm-hmm. Big Sirius XM guy over there.
Right.
So then there's this thing, Spotify. Mm-hmm. You can also listen to music.
Sure.
They have this thing called Spotify Wrapped, where it's like you kind of go through and who you listen to the most this season. I'm an Apple Music guy.
Okay.
Sue me.
Yep.
Luke Combs was my top artist this year, which is kind of surprising. I'm not a big country guy.
Interesting. Okay.
He was up there.
Yeah.
But just want to say thanks real quick, because as content creators, we also get our Spotify Wrapped. So Spotify included. And for the Phillies Talk podcast, I just want to say thank you to everybody that listened. We gained 750% of our audience over the last year. 750%.
Wow, that's big time.
Huge.
Yeah.
We've gained over 8,000 new followers.
Whew. Man.
So really, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
It's been incredible. Whether you listen to this on Spotify, whether you listen to Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you.
Yep.
It means a lot to both of us here on the Phillies Talk podcast. We've been having a lot of fun over the last 6 months together. It's going to be continuous fun for the next however long as we can keep going until we get kicked off for talking with Dancing with the Stars too much. But the fun thing is too, I really want to shout out our listeners in the United Kingdom. They were second in top countries. The United States first, the United Kingdom second. So shout out to Dave Shaw and the UK Phillies Talk podcast. Go listen to them. They're great. Germany, third. Shout out to our friends in Germany.
Yeah.
New Zealand was fourth.
Wow.
Shout out to you guys listening in New Zealand. And Sweden was fifth. So if you're locked in Sweden, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
For listening to the Phillies Talk podcast and getting your news right here on the Phillies Talk podcast.
Very cool. I echo everything you just said. Very, very cool to know people are out there watching and listening, and it's fun for us to do, talking Phillies baseball. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Those numbers are pretty cool, pretty encouraging, so hopefully we can continue to build.
We'll keep it rolling. And so real quick, shout out to Eagle Eye. They were the 7th ranked sports podcast in the entire country.
Man. Dave and Rube. That's crazy. The whole country.
They got competition, though. Yeah. We're coming.
Right on Rube's heels.
We're there.
Yes.
You're going to see Eagle Eye.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to see the Phillies Talk podcast.
All right.
Right underneath it next year.
Sounds like a good goal to me.
Or above it. We'll see. But shout out to Dave and Rube, and thanks to all the Eagle Eye listeners, too. They do an incredible job. But we are coming. Dave and Rube, if you're listening to this, next year, we're hopping you in the top spot. Mm-hmm. So on that note, thanks for listening. We're landing the plane. Next time we talk, we will be in Orlando, Florida. Look for a podcast on Sunday night. Get down there around 2 o'clock. We'll set the scene down in Disney, down in Orlando. And then we'll have a podcast shortly after that. And then daily pods from there every day in the winter meetings with some special guests, special one-on-one interviews. And then, of course, breaking down all the news that happens in the extravagant winter meetings.
Yes.
Can't wait for that.
Have fun.
So for Sean Kane, I'm Spencer McKercher. We will talk to you guys in Orlando. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll talk to you then.